court declines Yahaya Bello's bail request over alleged 110 billion naira fraud. Tax reform meeting between AGF and Senate caucus delayed. Borno court jails Mama Boko Haram and others for 15 years. And on the foreign scene, UN warns of escalating insecurity in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Welcome to News Update on Trust Television. I am Lilian Ogazi. And now to the news. Justice Marian Anene of the Federal High Court in Abuja has refused to grant a bail application filed by the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, saying that it was filed prematurely. Delivering the rule, Justice Anene said, having been filed when he was neither in custody nor before the court, the instant application was incompetent. The former governor is standing trial along with two others in an alleged 110 billion naira money laundering charge brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. In the arguments before the court on the bail application, the judge had said the defendant's counsel, J.B. Daudu, had told the court that he had submitted sufficient facts to grant the bail. He urged the court to exercise its discretion judicially and judiciously to grant the bail. In opposing, the prosecuting counsel, Kemi Finero, had argued that the instant application was grossly incompetent. Having been filed before arraignment, he said it ought to be filed after arraignment, but the first defendant's counsel disagreed, saying there was no authority. Bello had filed an application for his bail on 22nd November, but was taken into custody on the 26th of November and arraigned on 27th November 2024. The meeting of various caucuses of the National Assembly has stalled the debate on the tax bills currently before the Parliament for consideration. The four executive bills transmitted by President Bola Tinubu on September 3rd were the subject of heated verbal exchanges among lawmakers in the Green Chamber at a closed-door session a fortnight ago. The bills were transmitted to the National Assembly following the recommendations of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal and Tax Reforms headed by Taiwo Oyedele for the review of existing tax laws. Since the transmission to the Parliament by the President, the bills have been greeted with stiff opposition, particularly from the 36 state governors, who in October called for their withdrawal to allow room for more consultation. Although some state governors are reportedly shifting ground, having been convinced of the economic prospect of the tax proposal, the northern governors are yet to buy into the argument in favor of the bill, particularly the proposed sharing template of the value-added tax. Following this development, President Tinubu last week directed the Federal Ministry of Justice to liaise with the National Assembly to arrive at a common ground in the interest of the country. The camp of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has accused the ruling All Progressive Congress under the presidency of using the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, to destabilize and weaken the People's Democratic Party. Atiku's media aide, Paul Ibe, who made the allegation on Monday, claimed that the APC has turned the PDP into a playing ground to escalate its internal crisis and extend it to other opposition parties, using the former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike. But in a swift reaction, the National Publicity Director of APC, Bala Ibrahim, queried the rationale behind deploying Wike to wreck a party that is already in turmoil. Ibrahim also emphasized that the FCT minister is not a card-carrying member of the ruling party and therefore couldn't have been used to destroy a party he still belongs to. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority says it will sanction any airlines that delays ticket refund to passengers. NACA Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Michael Achimugu, made this known in a statement on Tuesday in Abuja. According to him, ticket refund compliance regulations remain central to the NACA's consumer protection agenda. He said the time had come for airlines to adhere strictly to refund timelines, as failure to comply will attract immediate sanctions under Part 19 of the regulations, which aims to safeguard passengers' rights. Speaking on a specific case involving Airpace, the director stated The airline had exceeded the stipulated refund timeframe, compelling the NACA to demand swift compliance. According to him, the incident has triggered the regulations to take a decisive action against any form of non-compliance. Meanwhile, the Association of Nigerian Travelers Agency has called for the extension of the probe of the Air Peace airline infraction to other airlines by the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC. The FCCPC is investigating the airline over alleged exploitative ticket pricing in violation of consumer rights. The commission, headed by Bello, journalist and lawyer, warned Air Peace against obstructing the inquiry, and according to NANTA, the inquiry should be extended to other domestic and international carriers to make it total. NANTA President Yinka Folami said the state of service and pricing of domestic travel operations in Nigeria fell short of the required standards. The umbrella body said it will continue to pursue advocacy in downstream aviation sector and focus on equitable market prices, policies, and protections of consumers. Justice Aisha Kumalia of the Borno State High Court, Maiduguri, on Thursday convicted and sentenced Aisha Wilkali, popularly known as Mama Boko Haram, and two others to 5 years imprisonment each. This was disclosed by the head media and publicity, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Dele Oyewale, on Monday. Wakli, who is the Chief Executive Officer, Complete Care and Aid Foundation, alongside Program Manager Tahiru Saidu Daura and Country Director Prince Lawal Shoyede, was rearraigned on Monday on 4-count amended charges, bordering on cheating, conspiracy, and giving false information to the tune of 6 million naira. The defendants pleaded not guilty to the charges preferred against them by the EFCC. During the trial, counsel for the prosecution, Mukhtar Ahmed and Shamsuddin Saka, presented 3 witnesses and tendered several documents as exhibits before the court in proof of the EFCC's case against the defendants. Justice Kumalia thereafter convicted and sentenced the defendants to 5 years imprisonment without an option of fine each. The judge further ordered the defendants to jointly and severally restitute the balance of 3.6 million to the petitioner, or in default, serve an additional 5 years jail term each. Meanwhile, bandits in Zamfara State have rejected 3 million naira offered as ransom for the release of 26 abducted persons from Gidangoga village in Maradun local government area. An indigene of the village, Abubakar Shehu, whose 3 daughters are among those abducted, disclosed this to newsmen on Monday. He clarified that 26 individuals were abducted during the attack and not 50 as earlier reported by social media outlets. Shehu explained that the abductors include 19 females. The abductees rather include 19 females and 6 males, with one of his daughters preparing for marriage before her abduction. Shehu noted that the bandits operate from a camp near the village and have been a persistent threat for a long time. He added that despite reporting the incident to security agencies in the area, no action had been taken, even as the State Police Command is yet to release a statement on the incidents. Borno State Governor Babangana Zulum on Monday presented a budget of 584.7 billion naira for 2025 to the State House of Assembly for the 2025 fiscal year. The proposal, tagged Budget of Recovery and Continuity, will enhance agriculture and development of infrastructure across the state to boost economic growth and build resilience among resettled communities. Trust TV's Beatrice Kurisi takes it from here.
The Borno State House of Assembly and other stakeholders were already seated ahead of the budget presentation by Governor Zulum. Titled Budget of Recovery and Continuity, it comprises capital and recurrent expenditures of 203.9 billion naira, which will be financed through the recurrent revenue from FAC of 311.7 billion naira and IGR of 30 billion naira. The Ministry of Health will get the highest allocation of 89.9 billion naira and Education 69.81 billion naira, while 20.8 billion naira is earmarked for agriculture. 24.4 billion naira for Ministry of Reconstruction, Rehabilitation and Resettlement, and 3.2 billion naira going for the Ministry of Justice. The budget will execute 23 critical projects which include reconstruction and rehabilitation of road networks and the establishment of hospitals, ICT centers, schools, international market, housing estates, factories, irrigation farms, empowerment, and many more. Governor Zulum proposed 22 billion naira for rehabilitation of infrastructures and businesses damaged by the flood, which affected 2 million people. He assured that all gratuities will be settled before the end of his tenure. He noted that the budget will transform the lives of people, ensure economic growth, and cushion the ongoing hardship.
Resettling closure of Bama IDF camp Mongonoma Fan, Madinati should be facilitated to logical conclusion in the year 2025. The recent attacks to officers and men in Kareto by Boko Haram members will not deter us from our resettlement drive. As we embark on this journey, we recognize that our success hinges on collaboration between government, civil society, private sector, and donor agencies. Together, we can drive sustainable growth, enhance public service, and ensure that no one is left behind.
Meanwhile, the Speaker of Borno State House of Assembly, Abdul Karim Lawan, commended Governor Zulum for supporting flood victims and the resettlement of communities. He observed that Guzamala was left out in the highlighted projects.
Additionally, your commitment to resettling victims of Boko Haram, farmers, herders, conflict back into their communities. It is a testament to your dedication to peace and rebuilding lives. The Honorable House therefore kindly give its support for the continuation.
In the coming weeks, ministries will be engaged in budget defense with the State House of Assembly. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
News update comes to you from Trust TV. Coming up, gender-based violence prevention underway at Bayero University, Kano. More to come right after the break. This day. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is news updates come to you from Trust TV. Let's take a look at our headline stories again. Court declines Yahaya Bello's bail request over alleged 110 billion naira fraud. And tax reform meeting between AGF and Senate caucus delayed. Now moving on, media trust journalists have been recognized for excellence at the Wole Soyinka Award for investigative reporting. As Sahel Aaron claims the top prize in the TV category for his investigative documentary Stolen Innocence, which tells the story of Nabeha's kidnapping and brutal murder in Abuja. Lami Sadiq also made an impressive mark, emerging as a runner-up in the same category with her documentary Kidney for Sale. The piece delves into the harrowing realities of illegal organ trade, sparking critical conversations about the challenges in healthcare and ethics. The recognition underscores Media Trust Group's commitment to impactful journalism that addresses critical societal issues, reaffirming its dedication to investigative reporting of the highest standards.
I'm very happy at this moment. I must say, I must thank the organizers, Wole Soyinka Center, for organizing this event. It's a thing of joy for every journalist to be recognized, and I think this is a very good chance for me to do more, to put in more effort to telling more stories that need to be told, especially stories of people that are being marginalized in the society, people that need their voices to be heard. And I think, this is a way forward for me to tell more of these stories.
It's actually exciting. It feels surreal to know that there is a center out there that not only encourages the kind of work we do, but also commends, and also I would say that they reward the kind of work we do. So it feels surreal after all the stress, after the backlash sometimes that comes with investigative report. It feels surreal to know that someone recognizes the work you do, and it's commendable.
The U.S. mission is here today to support a free press and quality journalism. And absolutely, we do trainings, we do workshops. Some of the journalists that won awards tonight have gone to the United States on our program. Some have been trained, and at least one of them is going next year on an exchange. So we are happy to support journalists, and it's so important. We really commend the Wally Shoinka Center for Investigative Journalism for doing this and their support for a free press and quality journalism.
The two-day National Conference on Gender-Based Violence Prevention from an Islamic Perspective, organized by the Development Research and Project Center, is underway at Bayero University, Kano. With support from the Ford Foundation through its partnership with the Center for Islamic Civilization and Interfaith Dialogue, the conference aims to empower Muslim opinion leaders to champion and model initiatives to prevent gender-based violence in northern Nigeria. Abdulaziz Ibrahim completes the story.
The Muslim Opinion Leaders for Gender-Based Violence Prevention Project has brought together religious and traditional leaders as part of the DRPC's initiative to address gender-based violence in northern Nigeria. The DRPC, leveraging over 22 years of experience working with more than 200 Muslim opinion leaders, including study tours in Egypt, facilitated this national dialogue. The event aligns with the global 16 days activism against gender-based violence.
The DRPC has supported 23 Muslim opinion leaders as well as the director of the center to attend a study tour on the role of Muslim opinion leaders in preventing gender-based violence, looking at Islamic perspective.
His Highness, the Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, emphasized the importance of legal reforms from an Islamic perspective to strengthen efforts against gender-based violence.
And I still insist that if we want to deal with this matter, we have to just come out with a clear statement. Beating your wife or beating your daughter or beating a woman is prohibited. It is a crime. Let's not even talk about handkerchief or chewing stick or what. It is just haram. It is prohibited. It is not allowed. It is something that is punishable in a court of law.
Stakeholders, including representatives from the Kano State Government and the Center for Islamic Civilization and Interfaith Dialogue, contributed their perspectives.
Consequences of gender-based violence are far-reaching and devastating. They not only affect the victims, but have ripple effects on families, communities, and society at large.
The National Dialogue highlighted the vital role of faith in addressing harmful practices affecting women and girls.
Islam has laid down many codes and the conduct of treating women with respect to equity and mutuality. If this could be thoroughly employed in the daily activities of Muslims, then there shall be a less gender-based violence. And fourthly, gender-based violence-free society.
A significant recommendation from the conference was for the Kano State Government to expedite the passage of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Bill to enhance protective measures.
That is why we have been following this BAF bill. Our interest is in this BAF bill because if BAF bill is passed as it has been passed in Kaduna, Jigawa, Katsina, I think a lot of problems of GBV will be solved in Kano.
The Muslim Opinion Leaders Project intend to continue strengthening the capacity of the MOLs, that's the Muslim Opinion Leaders. They were part of the peer-to-peer study tour in Egypt, which they already formed an action plan. They have an action plan where they can do the step-down trainings of what they have experienced in Egypt and what they have learned in terms of integrating the Islamic aspect of solving the issue of gender-based violence.
The DRPC remains committed to strengthening partnerships with religious leaders, community groups, and government agencies to advance joint advocacy and action against gender-based violence.
Norwegian energy giant Equinor has announced the decision to end its almost 31-year business partnership with Nigeria after finalizing the sale of its oil assets. A statement by the company on Monday said the sale of its assets was completed on December 6, 2024. The value of the transaction amounted to up to $1.2 billion, consisting of a purchase price of $710 million and the remainder in contingent payments. The divestment of assets and exits from operations in Nigeria were first announced in 2023. The international oil company said the asset sale is in line with the strategy of optimizing its oil and gas portfolio. The total equity production from the assets had been on average 18,700 barrels of oil per day, respectively, in the first 3 quarters of 2024. The closing of these transactions will have a positive impact on the cash flow for the 4th quarter of 2024, the company said. And on the foreign scene, the UN Special Representative in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Bintou Keita, has reported political tensions around calls to revise the constitution and the continued and escalating insecurity in the North Kivu and Ituri, especially related to activities of ADF, M23, Kodko, and Zare. Addressing the Security Council on Monday, Keita said the M23, a non-signatory of ceasefire agreement, has consolidated its civilian and military occupation in North Kivu. According to Keita, the M23 today controls the vast areas in the territories of Masisi, Rutshiru, Walikale, Nyargongo, and Lubero, a space twice as large as what it occupied in 2012. She also said the prevailing security environment continues to alarmingly exacerbate the humanitarian situation, further intensified by ever-growing climate change challenges. According to OCHA, almost 6.4 million people are currently displaced due to armed conflict and natural disasters.
The M23, a non-signatory of the ceasefire agreement, has consolidated its civilian and military occupation in North Kivu. Today, it controls vast areas in the territories of Masisi, Rushuru, Walikale, Nyiragongo, and Lubero, a space twice as large as what it occupied in 2012. The Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, remain the deadliest armed group, with hundreds of civilians killed in recent months.
The prevailing security environment continues to alarmingly exacerbate the humanitarian situation, further intensified by ever-growing climate change challenges. According to OCHA, almost 6.4 million people, 4 million people, are currently displaced due to armed conflicts and natural hazards. Multiple epidemics have also aggravated the humanitarian situation.
South Korean authorities on Tuesday banned more top officials from leaving the country in the wake of President Yoon Suk-yeol's bungled attempt to impose martial law. The day after Yoon himself was hit with a travel ban, his party was forging a resignation roadmap that reportedly could see him step down in February or March before fresh elections. Yoon suspended civilian rule a week ago and sent special forces and helicopters to parliament before lawmakers forced him to rescind the degree in the country assumed to be a stable democracy. Investigators are probing the president and a cabal of allies, many from the same school, for alleged insurrection over the sequence of extraordinary affairs events. On Tuesday, Cho Ji-ho, Commissioner General of the Korean National Police Agency, and 2 top police officials became the latest to be banned from foreign travel. The Yonnap news agency reported already confined to South Korean territory are the former Defense and Interior Ministers, Martial Law Commander General Park Ah-soon, and Defense Counterintelligence Commander Yo In-hyun. And in sports, Galatasaray have confirmed that Victor Osimhen will spend time on the sidelines due to a muscle injury. The Nigerian international sustained the injury during the Turkish Super League Championship away victory at Sivasspor on Sunday. Osimhen scored Galatasaray's second goal from the penalty spot in the 2-3 win. The 25-year-old has so far scored 7 goals and registered 3 assists in 9 league appearances. For Okan Buruk's side, the powerful striker was replaced by Victor Nelson 16 minutes from time. Galatasaray also revealed that the striker has already started treatment on the injury. The Yellow and Reds, however, refused to give a timeline on when he will return to action. With that, we've come to the end of the news update here on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms for more news programs and documentaries. I am Lilian Ogazi. Thank you for watching and bye for now.